The one thing which I want to talk about next is the role of business leaders in a wider leadership discussion around politics, around socioeconomic conditions. Because earlier, companies used to say that we don't take a political stance, right? But these days, your employees, especially the younger employees, want their leaders to express opinions, let's say about the Black Lives Matter movement and the war in Ukraine. So, how do leaders, or in fact, leadership itself, how is it changing? What challenges does it present for people who have grown up in that space that this is external, this is business, and now
Yeah.
suddenly you want me to talk about which I don't see this as like relevant to our business.
Yeah. I always talk about the most powerful leaders to me are transformative leaders. So they're leaders that aren't stuck in their ways. There are leaders that aren't just, again, I said it earlier, satisfied with the status quo. This is how it's always been done, right? Sometimes the world changes so drastically that maybe we need to change with it. We need to transform with it. We need to be more innovative. And to your point, for many years, especially you brought up politics is a good example, right? It was like politics is here, companies here and far apart. But in today's world, they seem to be coming together more and more. If you work for a company and there is some sort of milestone event in the world, whatever that event is, let's just go back to 2020 and say Black Lives Matter awakening, which
Yeah,
again, I use the word awakening because it really became this moment where people stopped, listened, took time to learn more, understand more. If you're the leader of any kind of company, large, maybe smaller, I think your employees are looking for what's our position? What's our point of view? What's your point of view as the leader of this company? What are we doing on our channels to share our point of view? Whatever it is. I think the key is, and again, this is more from my marketing brain, it can't be a me too kind of thing. It can't be our competitors are all out there saying this, so we need to say something. Because if that's the motive, that's not what it's about. So I think it's got to be, and this is what Gen Z talks about is important to them, genuine, authentic in the message, in the action, in the delivery, whatever it might be. So again, but I think you raised the point of we're in a completely different workplace, workforce, and generation now where maybe unlike when I came out of college many years ago, and I wasn't looking for leaders to share their POV, their point of view, their whatever. This generation is actually, right? Because they want to know how their company is reacting or responding to this situation in the world or this scenario or this movement or this awakening in the world. And so you raise a really good point. I'm not saying it's easy because it's not, right? It's not easy. You really got to think about it. You've got one chance to articulate a point of view, a message, whatever that might be. But I think what you talked about is the key is this new generation of employees. And I don't mean just Gen Z, I think also millennials. They're looking for what is our North Star? How are we reacting? How are we responding? As I'm part of this company, which I'm part of this community, which is my company. And I want to better understand what the leaders think and those kinds of things. So I think there's more demand, if that's the right word, for what is our point of view? What's our opinion, right? Where do we stand on this particular issue? And that doesn't mean that on every single topic issue of the day, companies need to respond. No, but some rise to the point where your employees are craving for where do we stand?
absolutely. Yeah. And I think the world is very different right now, right? The interconnected world, the prevalence of internet, which was very different, right? Something happening in your neighborhood and you can be totally isolated from it. But that
Correct.
also means that even those leaders who have been in the workforce for decades need to learn or change the way they communicate, the way they lead